This is the City League Sports Show. Joining us virtually today from South Carolina is William Bill Peterman, West High School alum in the house. I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino, and let me share this with you guests. When we get through today, you're going to appreciate today's guest as much as we do here. Hey, Bill, say hello to everybody here in Central Ohio.
Hello, Central Ohio, and a big shout out to the West Side. I miss and love you all very much. Y'all know who you are, my people out there.
Come on, hey, that's a great intro because you know what? If you've grown up in Columbus, or even if you've only been here right recently, like you shared, man, West Side has a unique level of love. It's a West Side brotherhood and sisterhood of belonging. And every time I'm out there, man, if I'm with one of my friends who's from the West Side, they instantly say, "Come on, man, I'll help you feel at home." So is that the memories you have of growing up on the West Side?
Yes, that's exactly how the memories I have. I mean, I'm still close with like a lot of friends up there. I keep in touch with them, and I feel like I owe a lot of who I am and what I am to the West Side. As I've gotten older, I've come to realize that, even with education and teaching and my experience down here and everything, I still feel like I kind of fall back on things that, I learned as growing up on the West Side.
Yeah.
I guess you could say book smarts are one thing and street smarts is something else. Not that I was like a bad kid running the streets,
right?
But from time to time, I might have snuck out of the house.
No doubt, yes. Hey, but you know what? In life, we need both, right? You need to know how to maneuver in different settings. Before we get too far maneuvering, where are you at in South Carolina? Share with everybody where you're at in South Carolina.
I'm just south of Myrtle Beach. I think everybody's familiar with that area.
Yeah.
I'm in Surfside Beach.
Okay.
We live about a mile from the beach, and I teach currently in Pawleys Island, which is just south of Surfside. So that's about 20 minutes away from my house. So it's all near the water.
Love! Hey, what a gift! So for all the West Siders that keep in touch with you, right? Listen to the jealousy there, right? Like, hey, man, I'm a mile from the beach, so just on any given day, man, just the beauty of I think maybe having that as a living experience is pretty cool. But what we want to do here today is we want to want to draw you back in with some memories and some stories about West Side Cowboys, you growing up there and being a part of really some special things. But you're a graduate, you're an 89 graduate, which I think officially, I don't know if you noticed, this is what the kids tell me. I don't know if the kids in the South tell you this, but the kids down here, they tell me if you were born in the 90s, you're officially old. Right, like if not, I said to myself, like, born? What are y'all talking about? Because these kids are all born in the 2000s, right? Like all the kids in schools today. Yeah. And so I said, born. I said I was born in the 70s, right? Like when you tell them that, they think you're really old, right? And so you're a graduate of before the 90s. So for all of our young listeners out there, you're listening to two of the old heads. Me and Bill here are two of the old heads. But what was it like 89? Take us back a little bit to West High School 89. How were things going there? And then we'll dive into some of your particulars. But just in school in general, what was it like?
I had a blast in high school. I thought we had like a real tight knit kind of community in school, and our senior class was very tight. We liked to have a good time and hang out, and we was good in athletics and academics. I mean, everybody was kind of well-rounded, and, there wasn't really like a whole lot of like beef or anything like that, or people not getting along. It was just an exciting time. I mean, I remember that in my high school career, I got like an award for perfect attendance, and I didn't even realize that I'd never missed a day of school. And I think a lot of that was because I had such a good time going to school.
Yeah,
I enjoyed being there and doing things, and just the atmosphere of it. It was fun. I had really, really, really good teachers who I owe a lot to. But West was fun, man. It was an exciting time. I mean, sports and everything.
Yeah. So I read in the narrative that you shared with us, you grew up a baseball kid, and then track, I think, has become a part of your legacy. Is that a fair comment to make, that track has become part of your legacy? Okay. So track becomes a part of your legacy, but it finds you accidentally. Share with how track found you.
Yeah, well, when we were younger, we didn't have like school programs. It was like all rec. So like football
Okay.
was the Carl J. Fulton League, and that was really my first love was football. So we played in Carl J. Fulton League.
Yeah.
Baseball was rec. We didn't have middle school programs. So at 6, 7 years old, you start playing little league, and I was pretty much just playing football and baseball, basketball, a little bit here and there. And the problem is with that is when you get to high school, all those people you playing little league with, they're all going to different schools.
Yeah.
Franklin Heights is down the street.
Yeah.
You had Bishop Reedy. You had Briggs. Weston wasn't too far away. So you're talking, 4 to 5 high schools, maybe roughly within the 20-mile radius.
10, 20-mile radius. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So a lot of the friends I grew up with playing with all went to different schools. And when I got to West, I was like, well, I'm going to play football. I'm going to play baseball. And I got to play a little bit at varsity as a freshman playing baseball. And, it was just different. I missed my old teammates that I grew up with. And I remember coming back from a game as a freshman and, you get dropped off at the stadium. And I remember the bus pulling in the parking lot and there was buses, cars everywhere. I mean, there was like a Big Bear grocery store down the street. Cars were parked in that parking lot all up and down the alley at West High School.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on here? There's more vehicles here than there are like at a football game.
Right.
And they drop us off and I go inside the stadium because I had to call my mom because, we didn't have cell phones.
That's
back
right.
then.
That's right. Yeah. Special times, man. That's right.
Yeah. And I called my mom, come pick me up. And I sat there and waited on it. And it was a track meet going on. I think it was either the Rufus Glass relays or the Hilltop relays, which were Friday night under the light.
Oh, wow.
Relays. Yeah. And, it was big. Everybody was there. All the city league schools was there, plus all the local schools in the area. And I remember just watching, and it was such an exciting atmosphere. The fans were really into it. And I remember seeing people I played football with and think, well, I'm just as fast as him and just as fast as them. And of course, there's girls out there too.
No doubt. Come on, right?
It's a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah.
Between events, you can socialize a little bit and, play up to the crowd or whatever. So it was just a different atmosphere that I wasn't used to, but it was the energy of it was something that really kind of drew me in. And then, from there on, I was planning on playing baseball the next year. We got a new coach and our guidance counselor, Mr. Fitzsimmons, who was the head track coach also, started seeking me out because my sophomore year, I started playing football both ways.
Okay.
And I was kind of a young cat. A lot of seniors on the team. A lot of seniors ran track, and the peer pressure came, and it was like borderline bullying. Don't talk to us if you ain't going to run track.
Right. But good-hearted though. What I mean? Yeah. Good-hearted guys just bugging you, saying, "Hey, come on, we'd like to see you out here with us doing track." Right? Yeah. Good-hearted.
Right.
Yeah. Good-hearted energy.
And they jab at you a little bit. And
right.
I didn't think too much about it, but I had a decision to make. I feel like I kind of wanted to try track, but I had played baseball so long.
Right.
And my parents said, we'll support whatever decision you make. And I talked to our head football coach, who was Dan Duper at the time, who also happened to be the girls track coach.
Okay.
And he said, well, you're playing running back and defensive back. He said, running track would probably help you on the field with your speed. And so I went out my sophomore year, and the deal was, if it doesn't work out, I'll go play baseball my junior, senior year.
Yeah. And
I ran track.
Hey, pause for a second for me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to dive in.
It's all right.
You shared something which is old school parenting and old school thinking, which is you said, I'm going to try track my sophomore year, but if it doesn't work out, I'll play baseball junior and senior, which meant you would have finished that year you were in, right? Because we grew up on you finish what you start, right? Like if you started, you finish it, And I wanted to point that out because you worded it naturally, but I think there are some kids who even today I see it happen. I keep sharing this with parents. I don't think you're doing your child really a great opportunity. I got to kind of you got to careful with your words sometimes. But I don't think you're helping your child if you allow them to quit before the end of the season. Let them finish it out. Let him or her get to the end and then reflect on how it went. Because I know some kids, they say, oh, well, I'm going to run track. Oh, they do track for a week or two. Then they go, nope, I don't like it. Then they're out there playing softball, playing softball or playing baseball. But you said that naturally. Say, hey, if it did, I'll try track. And if it doesn't work out, then junior, senior, I'll go back to baseball. I love
That's
the way
right.
you worded that.
Well, thank you.
But then the beauty is it did work out.
Yeah, it did. It was after that season, I never really looked back at
Never.
playing baseball. The
So
baseball coach came to
yeah.
me and
Said,
he
"What's
was just
going
like,
on?"
that's a wrap in it. And I'm like, yeah.
Probably could realize, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I made it to state in the 200, and I was the only one
As
on
a
the team that
sophomore?
made it. Yeah, and I was the
Oh
only
wow.
one from the team that made it. And I mean, I was just running. I mean, I was just, they brought on a coach my junior, senior year, Coach Jimmy Glasgow, who was a
Yes,
great
indeed.
coach.
Yeah.
And
Sprinting coach, right?
yeah, he really
Yeah.
fixed me. And, I always think about the way I used to run. If you ever seen like Rocky 2 or Apollo and
Okay.
Rocky
Yeah,
running on the
yeah,
beach,
yeah.
and Sylvester Stallone, Rocky looks all tense and
Right.
stuff, and all that. Everyone's running. That's probably how I was running when I was a sophomore. And Apollo looked real smooth and polished when he ran, and I think he looked real relaxed. And I think Coach Glasgow kind of fixed me to make understanding that not only like how to run correctly, but the history of the sport. And just certain things. He was just a real special coach, and he was a big help to our program and all the everybody that was on the team. And he really got me kind of even more hooked on running track and being a part of that.
That's what good coaches are supposed to do, right? Good coaches are supposed to help any young person or any individual for that matter. Good coaches are supposed to help find your special talent, mold your interests, and get you all the way bought in, right? And it sounds like Coach Glasgow did that for you. But let's talk about some of the accomplishments then. So as a sophomore, you make it to states. You're doing track and football, right? This journey begins on just waiting for a ride home one day, and now so you're sitting there. Tell me, when you look back on it, tell all the listeners, like what are the memories that jump out at you? Sophomore, junior, senior year, accomplishment wise, because you had your fair share of doing some really special things. Right. So what is it when you look back on it? What's the thing that gives you the goosebumps a little bit?
I'd say one of them was one goal that we kind of had, and Coach Glasgow kind of set it up for me because again he kind of knew the history of the City League and the sport and everything. My senior year was to win what he called the Triple Crown. Was the 100, the 200, and the 400, and we had a really good team. We had a balanced team. We had a great hurler, people in the jumps, the throws, and we thought we could win a city title overall as a team, and maybe contend for state or be somewhere up there because we thought we were just that good. Our coaches thought we were that good.
Yeah,
and he told me that within 70 years of the City League, no one had won all 3 sprint events. That I'd be the first to do that, and so that day was a very special day because it was something that I.
Where was Cities at that day? Where was City? Do you remember?
Whetstone.
Okay, yes. I'm just curious. We moved the city meet around a little bit. I was just curious.
Yeah.
So up at Whetstone, along the river there, right? You got the river going on there, and you're having a special day.
Yeah, it was just I thought the 100 would probably be the toughest event. I've been beat by a guy from Whetstone a couple of times in that event, and that particular day, I came out of blocks and all I saw was track, and it was just a feeling back then that I wasn't going to get caught. Yeah. I've never been caught, so
right.
When I won that race,
you was a bad dude, man. You've been a little bit too humble for us, man. You was a bad dude.
Started steamrolling. Yeah, started steamrolling a little bit. So the 400 was kind of a new thing I took my senior year. Okay. I didn't run the 400 my senior year. They kind of stuck that on me at the end of my junior year by making me run the 4x4 relay. And it was like, you could run third leg. And I was like, that's all right. I'll run third leg, kind of like a hang-on leg.
Yeah.
And then by the City League time, like, no, we need you to anchor that relay.
Nice.
And then going to my senior year, they're like, we're going to take you out of 4x1, put you in a 400 because so many things could happen on a 4x1 with exchanges. And, you're relying on other people to think you get a lot of points just by yourself in a 400. So I took up the 400 my senior year. And, I won that at my senior year at the city meet. And then the 200 was really my favorite event. And I felt like, well, this is going to be a wrap here. I want to, do well in this. And then we ran the 4x4 relay and won that. We ended up winning the City League title. And then after that, we had district and region. We won those two as a team.
So hold on. We ain't fast forwarding past these special moments then. And our listeners, I've shared with you, Coach, our listeners know I say this every time when we have a track athlete. If you run the 400, that's an adult. That's a tough race.
Yeah.
Like I don't know
Yeah.
what genius out there thought to say, I want you to sprint around the track one time, because the 400 is tough. And
It is.
I'll throw some names up here in a moment when we get to your OSU time. But you're running the 400. You have this great day where you win 3 events. You're anchoring the 4x4. And so now here you sit in high school, and all of this is kind of happening. Is this the point, or had you already known track is 100% my thing, or did it take a moment like that for you really to like say, hey, look, I get it now?
I guess it took a moment because I was still, football was still my first love, but I mean, I still probably shine more in track and field looking back at it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm like 170 pounds, maybe
That's
a little
all
bit
right,
heavier than that
man.
now.
I get
I'm
yes.
not
Hey,
like a
come on,
real
all
big
of
guy,
us. Yes, indeed.
but
Right.
but I think I would have been better suited probably more like in today's game because back in the day, you lining up in the eye,
Mm-hmm.
do tights and
Right.
running up the middle,
Yeah.
and I always wanted to play receiver, but they was always like, we need you, like, you need to have more touches. So like in Little League, I'll be the quarterback because I knew all the plays.
Yeah.
And then when I got to high school, it was like, well, your throwing's okay, but we need you like this to run the ball because you're a better runner than you are a thrower. But I would probably have been like a better like slot receiver or something like that. And
Right,
even at
right.
Ohio State, it was still line up in the eye and run it down, 2 yards,
Yeah.
2.5 yards, cloud of
Right.
dust type thing.
Right. So let's talk about that for a minute. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
All right.
But I wanted to say, so like you're in high school, the team has a lot of success your senior year, districts and regional. Who are some of the teammates that you remember that deserve some love today on the show that was running track alongside you? Who's some names you need to throw out there to give them some love today?
Wow, there's a lot. Jason Scott was our hurler. He was in the state finals in both events and the high jump. You see, Torrey Kershaw was
Come
really
on,
known
Big
for
Tory. Yes, indeed.
his basketball skills. But
yeah.
he was really good at discus. He's got the big
Got them hands. Come on, we can say it at the same time, man. Big Tory got them hands, man. And Tory is still with the school district right now, man. So Tory is out there coaching a little middle school basketball. He's
got the voice like Tone Loc.
Yes, indeed, man. And I had the luxury of playing some adult basketball with Tory. Tory's a couple years older than me. So we would get together out here running around, man. And, like you said, I remember the first time I was sitting next to Tory and I looked over and I was like, this dude's hands might be the biggest mitts I've ever seen in my life, man. So for anybody out there, if you ever see Torrey Kershaw, man, you heard 2 people here. We both co-sign on Tory's hands. So Tory's a discus thrower. And who else jumps out at you?
We had a jumper named Quincy Colvin, who was really good, really tough dude. We had our relay. We had a guy named Leroy Golden.
Yeah,
he was golden. He had a good name. He always reminded me of He always said he looked like the lead singer from Kool and the Gang.
There you
JT.
go, some West Side love, right?
Yeah,
so
like
now
Jerry curls.
Yeah.
And
so your senior year, share with us the names who you ran against, like you said. Cause so did you come in a 3rd place in that particular time? Throw those names out there for listeners to understand.
Chris Nullum's
Dayton guy.
Yeah, Dayton. I mean, he was a junior Olympic world champion. I mean, at 400, 200. I mean, and then his junior senior, decided to run the 110 hurdles, and he broke Renato Nehemiah's 110 hurdle record, ran like a 13.3.
Yeah.
I mean, he could do any event,
right?
And was good. And it's just unfortunate that every year I had to face him, and he's actually a year behind me,
right?
And the same class as him was Robert Smith, who ended up being a Minnesota Viking All-Pro running back.
Yeah.
So I every year I had to deal with those guys. So I think that part of that was part of my work ethic, because I knew how talented those guys were.
Yeah.
But I also had figured out that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So maybe if they take some days off, and maybe if they're not working so hard, maybe I'll have a shot.
Well, so, and the reason why I wanted to share that piece, not necessarily to shine any light on them, but I want all our listeners to understand how bad of a dude you are. Like, you know what I mean? So, oftentimes, well, I say that and I'm being real with you, man. Like, oftentimes I think people will talk, and this is for me to shower love and flowers on you, man. You could stay
Thank
humbled.
you.
I'll tell everybody how bad you are, but when you're running in a race and you're competing with those guys, like you're a bad dude. And I think sometimes, man, people need to hear it to understand you're also in that class, right? So along with working hard, but you have to have some stuff to be able to be
Yeah.
in that group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's transition here if we can. How do you end up west side of Columbus to OSU? How does that journey take place? Where's that bridge at?
I guess my heart was always kind of set there, being a Buckeyes fan growing up, and you
And I
know,
saw you got your Buckeye Cup today, so you through and through.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I let them know down here.
Come on, please do.
Yeah.
Please. That's what I got to do. When I went off to school, I was in Pittsburgh. I said, y'all talking about Pitt University football? I
Yeah.
said, no, come on. We do a different type of football back home. I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
right.
Yes, indeed.
But I don't know. It's just I had some offers and I took some visits and stuff, and I don't know. I guess I just kind of want to stay back at home. I mean, I think I wasn't like, I guess, a mama's boy or anything like that, but I wanted to be around my parents to help them out. I mean, I'm the only child, so there's no brothers or sisters.
Okay.
And
So,
it's
so,
like
so mom and dad were your support team for real.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's it. And then when you're young and you grow up in a certain way, it's not till like later on you realize how things actually probably were. Like, you think, well, everything's good. We take a vacation in Myrtle Beach every year. Sometimes I'm riding because my dad was a construction worker. So he worked on like the state office building, like a lot of buildings down in Columbus.
Yeah.
And my mom was in retail. So it wasn't like we was like rolling deep with some money or anything
Right. I
like
get
that.
it.
But I always had nice clothes and roof over my head and stuff. But it wasn't until like I actually moved down here after a few years of teaching and coaching in Ohio. And then I went back and just kind of stayed around the neighborhood a little bit and visited with some people that I started, really realizing like, I don't know how I did it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And
our parents were some special folks
Yeah.
back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To raise kids 70s, 80s with all the stuff and I'm not saying there's not things going on now, but I share as a tidbit for the parents that listen on our line, you don't have to allow your parent challenges to trickle down to your kid. Let your kid be a kid. They don't.
Yes.
They you know what I mean. Let them grow up
Yeah.
with that purity, and then, like you said, find out later on when you're an adult that's the time for revelation.
Yeah. And, it's just kind of want to be there to help out a little bit. I mean, as I got a little bit older in college years, parents' health started declining a little bit. So I think it was a good decision. And, like every decision, even if it's a mistake, there's a lesson or some good that comes from it. And sometimes you make good decisions. And, I'm always like, you can learn from, whatever decision you make, good or bad, there's stuff to be learned from it. And everything always happens for a reason. So I loved Ohio State. And a lot of people thought I was kind of crazy for, trying to walk on and do all that kind of stuff. But I'm the type of person I was also brought up like, hey, you shoot for the stars and shoot for the moon or you shoot for the moon, and if you don't get it, you might pick up a few stars on the way up, way up there or the way back down. So that's kind of when I wanted to be around the best. And those guys that you mentioned, Chris and Robert, I remember being on the podium at the state finals, and we were getting our plaques, and they were like, I kind of already knew they were going to be at Ohio State, even though it wasn't like official, but it was like, we might maybe we'll have a good relay. We'll see you there.
Yeah.
So they were like juniors, but no one really knew that they were coming there. But I kind of already knew, like, yeah, I think they're going to come to Ohio State, no matter what the press.
Right. So you go on to Ohio State, man, and you're playing football and running track while you're at OSU.
Yeah. Yes.
So when you look back on that, it's hard enough to be a high school athlete, and then you're talking about a dual sport college athlete. How was your life at OSU? I mean, just give us a peek behind the window, because I'm guessing you just had to be busy from like literally one day to the next. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of free time in that schedule.
No, there wasn't. And it took me about a good year to kind of figure things out and get my act straight. I mean, it was that first year was rough. And I always tell kids that graduate, from here that I work with, say this, that first year you're gonna learn more about life than you've learned in 12 years of being in school. It's been time management and responsibility and self-discipline and all that. And then, I had to do a lot of that on my own. None of my family members went to college.
Mm.
And so, no one was there to tell me like, hey, this is how it's going to be, or
Right.
you need to be doing this. So I kind of had to figure it out. But you was right. I mean, it was, early in the morning, study table, classes
Hmm.
in the morning. I would literally like pack like a little Playmate cooler for lunch because, I didn't really have money. I didn't have a job. I worked in
Yeah.
the summer, but we didn't have jobs. Where it's not like today where, I
Right.
feel like I got it a little bit easy day. I just
Oh
sit in my
man, they got
car,
it. Hey man,
eat.
they got it great
Yeah.
today,
Oh
man.
man, it's amazing.
I remember I went back to school one time. I just shared with you, and I went into the locker room. They were showing me around. They had did a renovation, and I'm looking around, and I said, "So like these coolers and these vending machines and stuff, I see y'all put them in, but are the players allowed to?" They like, "Oh, those are stocked for the players to eat." I mean, I remember when I
Yeah.
was in school, man, we was struggling for a snack and a bag
Yeah.
of chips. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they got it fully stocked, like a little
Yeah.
small grocery store inside the locker
Yeah.
room. Yeah.
I'm sitting in my little Pontiac eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and an
Come
apple
on.
or
Yes,
something.
indeed. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then it was an all day thing, because you have practice and then dinner, and it was kind of the same thing in dinner. I might have two things packed in that cooler. If I had a little bit of money, it's a big treat to go somewhere on High Street and
Yeah.
get something to eat. But I had to hang around because, you had study table in the evening. So,
Hmm.
you're kind of sandwiched at a study table. So your day, you might not end until like 8:30 at night sometimes. And I was close enough, 15 minutes away. I'd go home, get a hot meal, or
Oh,
but
nice. Okay.
but still, it was you're right. It was pedal to the metal all the time.
Yeah.
And springtime got real crazy because I remember being at track practice and they sent people over to come get me. Said, no, you got to come to spring ball. And I said,
Mm.
well, wait a minute. When I came, I was like, we kind of had discussion. I could do both, And they're like, well, Coach Cooper said you could do 2 days of practice here, 2 days of practice at track, and then you can travel with the team for track on the weekends. And
Hey,
those
my
some days
eyes
I
are
like.
big right now. Wow, that sounds like a man. I mean, that's full throttle right there, dude.
Yeah, it was. And
Wow.
getting hit and beat up pretty good. And the next day you out there running 10 200s the next day in practice.
Right,
And
right, right. I
what
mean,
day is it? What am I supposed to be? And all that.
I don't know that many people have that type of experience. I can only imagine that that's helped shape, played a big part in the guy that you are today. I mean, that builds a different type of character, I would have to think.
Yeah, it was. I'm big on work ethic. So it took a lot for me, and it also took a lot for me to kind of figure out, okay, I guess my college experience was a lot different than a lot of other people's because I didn't look at it so much as being fun. After a couple of years, I was like, this is a job.
Okay.
And I ended up being a double major because my high school coaches at the time, I was like an artist. That's all I really liked in school. I like English, but that's a lot of
Mm.
writing.
Yeah.
I like painting and doing that kind of stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna be a struggling artist.
There
I'll
you
figure
go.
something out.
Come on, man.
And
Hey,
my
you got like this great Renaissance kind of funky story, man.
yeah,
You sound. I mean, like hey, look, I don't know who's down there in South Carolina. What's the area again?
Surfside Beach.
Surfside
Always on
Beach,
the
man. If you're in Surfside Beach listening and you see Bill out there someplace at his watering hole, man, sit down, buy him a beer, and have a conversation. I can only imagine the stories you must have. So let's talk about this. You're an artist. I mean, is that your path?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to do. I studied fine art, and it's one of those things like in the wintertime, it was, you don't go outside. So no brothers or sisters. So I always drawing and painting and doing things like that. And I loved it in high school and did really well with that. And, my Dave Koblenz, who's, a legendary coach, and Gary Vanderson and John Warner, all my former coaches, Gary Link, they all kind of mentioned, say, hey, you probably be like a good coach. You should think about going into education. If you went into art education and coach, that's kind of a rare combo.
No doubt.
That might be attractive for like, employers. And I was like, well, that's a good idea. I was like, it's obvious, I can't, do sports forever.
Right.
And so I ended up, I was like, well, I still like want to do the art thing too. Cause I found out that the art stuff, learning how to paint, draw, all those other things was really more important than education classes. Cause as you know, in education, things are always changing. How you do your lesson plans, how you present it, it's always evolving. So, I was taught back then, this stuff's not really doesn't really apply too much anymore.
Right.
So the art part was really important to me because I knew how to like paint, I knew how to do like printmaking and all that, ceramics and everything. So I had that background, but I had a double major, and I'm really happy I did that. And that's how I became an art teacher and a coach. And it's a rare thing because people call me a coach, but I'm in here
Yeah,
teaching
you
people
in
how to
here
paint and
loving it,
draw.
man. Wow. Hey, so before we have to wrap up, I told you 30 minutes would go by pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Um, I want to share for a moment. What year was it? OSU. We're going to rewind back for a second. OSU. You're on the 4x4 team that wins the
Mm.
Big Ten championship. What year was that for you?
That was 91,
What no what year were you?
1990.
What year were you in school? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I was a sophomore. Yeah.
Sophomore. You're
Yeah.
so you get a chance to win a Big Ten championship. Now
Mhm.
as of recently, I'm gonna fast forward for you because I think you'll like this. And just from a connection out there, um, we had a young man on the show, Asa Burke, who graduated
Mhm.
from East High School and ran at
Mhm.
OSU. And Asa was also on the 4x4 team that won the
Yeah,
Big Ten
I
championship.
listened a little bit of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so when I read that about your narrative, I thought how like really how cool that was to have both
Yeah.
of you legends in here with us this year. Two totally different kind of backgrounds and stories. Asa said his parents were from Jamaica, but I share that because you're connected in this unique way of
Right.
both being OSU guys and 4x4 winners, and I think
Yeah.
that speaks to the beauty of athletics. I think it speaks to how this is always can be that common thread that unites us all to say, hey, look, let's come together and we can all be on this team or we can all be connected in this special type of way.
Definitely. And like with track and field, I always tell people it's the most diverse sport there is. And it's also the oldest sport. There's literally
Mm,
something for everybody. And that's another thing that I think kind of drew me in with track and field is this, all the diversity with it and so many different people, so many different personalities. I like being around different people like that.
yeah.
Uh, so that was a big thing for me.
Wow. Well, hey, look, I mean, your story, I think, is even more amazing as I hear it from you. It's one thing for you to read some things on paper, and we still, I mean, we are only on the tip of the iceberg because we haven't had a chance to go into all your coaching here today and the
Yeah.
wonderful thing that you've done for young people and touch folks' lives. I think also, man, sometimes people don't even realize, like, kind of when you're in the moment you're inspiring other kids because so like I see that you're an educator, I'm an educator, and I'll hear how other kids will maybe speak to or mention about students that they think are successful athletically. So
Right.
while you're out there doing all those special things that you've done and going to state and influencing you or not even knowing that you're influencing your classmates. Kids are walking
Right.
around, they're going, man, look at Bill, bad dude. You know what I mean? So you're inspiring people even when you don't even know
Right.
it, man. I think that's the
Right.
beauty of that diversity you spoke to.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
hey,
It's
look,
a
you shared a lot with us. The floor is yours, man. What you got for us before we start to get out of here and wrap up? Anything you want to say that I didn't touch on?
no, I just honored to be on here. I mean, like I said, I watch the listen every now and then, and I always scroll through see who you got on, and I'm just happy to be part of City League. I mean, I feel like it's molded me to be it's a big part of the man that I am and who I am, and I've been married for 8 years. I got two youngsters. One's 4, one's 2,
Nice.
and hopefully, I can bring them up to Columbus so they can have an understanding of what it's like, what it was like for me a little bit, and
Yeah.
hopefully the same work ethic and lead by example and that kind of stuff. Hopefully, I can instill in them. It's hard, but I think that old school blue collar kind of attitude, that kind of grit you get from the city league,
Yeah.
it's important. It's very important. I mean, I talk to my friends about it, and I see about it, and I read about it, and I'm very proud to be from West High School and part of the city league and representing everybody.
Come on,
So
man. Hey, all day. Hey, look, let me share with you. You said you are thankful we had you on the show. No, brother. Hey, we're thankful you joined us. Real talk, like,
Thank
you know
you.
what I mean?
Thank
Blessed
you.
and happy that you would carve out some time here to share a part of your story.
Thank you.
And that's what, like we were talking in pre-show here today. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to let everyone know how special we really got it going on. I don't think people understand it, and when you're from the outside, you make whatever judging energy or thoughts. But we I mean, our list is long, and think of it, like we've had probably 65 shows, and we still got another, like, 100 people we still need to get to. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Like there's hundreds and hundreds of people, and each year we go find you to come and join on the show of Bill Peterman. Then there's another kid currently that's also making their name and cutting their teeth while we're doing it. But we're blessed that you came and joined us today. For our radio
Thank you.
listeners, so let me share with you how Bill teases us today, because I need my radio listeners to see this. He's down in South Carolina. He tells us he's a mile from the beach, and then for his backdrop, he's got this big, beautiful blue ocean with the sun setting. And so we're sitting here up in Columbus. Now, we're having nice weather right now in the spring. We kind of think this is one of our lucky days, but it'll be another month or so before we're enjoying. We'll never get the water, but at least before we get the nice sunsets, it'll be another month here in Ohio before we get that.
I don't know. The weather's so fickle in Ohio. I remember, I carried a backpack when I was coaching track, and I had everything in that backpack, even my last season of coaching, extra socks,
Oh, wow.
beanie, gloves, and
Right.
umbrella and everything. It was like, where you got all that stuff in that bag? I was like, cuz I said, I keep it like that because when I was in Ohio, I might show up in a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops, and by the middle of the meet, I might be wearing like a jacket or something, a parka, and be all bundled up because the weather can just change like that on a dime. So, I have to admit, I don't miss the winters too much.
There you go. Well, you know what? The beauty of what you just said is that you've always been prepared. Sounds like you had a lot of stuff in your backpack for a lifetime, and you've always been prepared to have what you need to pull it out. We're blessed and honored to have you on the show today. I got to do our outro, but appreciate you joining us, man. Much love, much love, much love.
Thank you.
For your radio folks out there, catch future episodes on WCBE 90.5 FM. For those of you that are listening to us on your podcast, catch us on your favorite platform, Apple, Spotify. And for everybody out there that's down with Instagram, please follow us at City League Sports 614. I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino. This is City League Sports.